Hey guys, grab your snacks, grab your wine. It's Chisme time. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you guys for coming back. It's TheAshleyTv and we're tuning in to Chisme Talk. Cheers. Alright y'all, so this is my third time trying to record this video. I set up my new studio today. For whatever reason, every time I try to record, the lighting was bad, things would happen. The first time I came into the bathroom, because the lighting was better, my camera was in slow-mo. I finally just reset the settings and now we're here. So praying to the content gods that this is the final cut right here. Y'all, so trigger warning. This is more of a adult Chisme video. If y'all haven't seen the show Quiet on the Set, this is what it was inspired by. We are going to be generally discussing like what happened, but I'm not going to be discussing in detail. And it's mainly just to correlate it with what this triggered and what it may trigger for most people, what it triggered for me, and then just dealing with that. Coming to terms with going through SA and healing through it and just the thoughts and how to process it. So if y'all haven't seen it, spoiler alert, it's pretty much about the cast, the child cast, now they're adults, of the Nickelodeon show. Everything from like iCarly to it kind of talked about maybe Kenan and Kel. There was like brief moments. Drake and Josh. The Amanda Show. And just some other ones. As far as that goes, they experience some pretty like disturbing things. Now, I'm not going to talk about the specific people. I'm definitely sending like healing vibes to them. But what I did want to discuss was what this triggered for me. Being a kid, being brought up, not having both parents and going through certain things, I did experience things that I shouldn't have at an early age. And I was exposed to a lot of traumatic experiences from like physical abuse, sexual abuse. It was just unfortunate. One of the things that I had forgotten about was a specific traumatic experience until I watched this show. And I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but has anyone else, comment down below. We don't have to go into detail, but have y'all ever like someone talked about something or you seen something on TV and you forgot you went through it until they talked about it and you were like, oh, like I experienced that, like that's my truth, and like the people don't even know that they're speaking onto your life, but that's literally what you went through. That pretty much had happened with me. So when watching this show, I didn't cry a lot. There's been certain movies and certain things in the past where it traumatized me, but this time I finally just was at terms and I watched it and I was like more sympathetic to what the other people were going through. But one thing I will say a trigger for me is like I was shaking the whole time. So when I was watching it, it wasn't like a full body shake, but I would try to get something like with my hands or pick something up and my hands were shaking. So it definitely still hit like a nerve, but it was just like I'm at a point now where I want to be more accepting of what my experience was, but I don't want it to control me. So that's where we're at. Also guys, to anyone that's ever gone through an SA experience, like it's not your fault. I know that sometimes the circumstances are unfortunate. I myself, just being authentic, I've gone through things to where I have allowed certain things to happen just because I was trying to preserve myself at the time. And now looking back, I now realize not sticking up for myself and not protecting myself was not the best idea. And I don't recommend that. So if you're anyone that has ever like done that to survive like myself, don't beat yourself up. I completely understand. But moving forward, I just want y'all to know it's not something that we have to do. Like, it's unnecessary. And also pretty much just like, it's a lot more common than people talk about. Here they just happen to be talking about a child show, but it happens in families, especially minorities. People don't talk about it. It happens in families, it happens in school, it happens with family, friends. Like, this is something that I wish more people, now they're starting to speak up about. So I can't say like more people like overall, but I do feel like as a whole, we could make it more comfortable for minorities, our families like us. We can make it more normalized for people to talk about their experiences versus like everybody just sweeping everything under the rug all the time and never discussing what happens to them. Like, it'd be so odd to me that that's just not a team talk that's had. Another thing I want to talk about is after going through SA, like, not trying to be funny, a lot of the emotions, a lot of the processing is going to be ups and downs. It's going to be a lot of extremes. So definitely, if you have a good support system, lean on them. If not, use whatever resources you may have, but just try not to like isolate and spend so much time alone to where you end up lashing out on yourself and others in such a negative and dangerous way, because that's no fun. Like, it can get really ugly and real in the field real quick. Another thing that I wanted to discuss, so you just gotta be okay with letting it go and doing your best to heal from it. And then lastly, I'm trying to think of what else is triggered for me. I don't have kids. I do have a niece. I do have like close family and children that I'm close to. But for me, it just kind of triggered like, I know that when I become a parent, I want my child, one, I don't want them to grow up too fast. But I do want to have a conversation with them enough for them to know, like, hey, if someone crosses this boundary, that's not okay. And tell an adult you're comfortable with as soon as possible. And then I also want them to know, like, hey, if you got to call 911, that's okay too, because we live in a different kind of world these days. Like, things are different. People do odd things. And I don't ever myself, my extended family, or just anyone in general, just being a kind human, I wouldn't want someone to experience that. So just overall, I feel like maybe to what we could do moving forward, if you have kids, or even if you don't, if you have smaller family members, you know, like little kids that are in your family, or just like people that lack the knowledge that they need, let them know, like, hey, you know, if someone makes you feel uncomfortable, when you get around someone where you feel comfortable, tell them what's going on, like, talk about it. And then something else I noticed, y'all, in the show was that the family members that did speak up, they ended up firing the kids, and like it caused a rift within the family. And to the parents, or to anyone that may be watching that genuinely care about the people around them and might be considered a little overprotective or territorial when it comes to situations like that, like, yeah, the person that you're protecting or whomever it is to you, they might get upset, and that's completely understandable, but just trust the reason why you're doing it and why you're trying to protect them. And also, to anyone watching this video, usually your gut instinct about people and what they're capable of is usually right, so please follow it. And just like y'all, don't punish yourselves for protecting the people that you love. If that means you have to come off a little like over the top or a little extra, a little crazy, then so be it. And just know that at the end of the day, you're doing what you feel is best. And then if you're wrong at the end of the day, you just go back, apologize, and rectify it. But what I noticed in my life and within that, most of the time, the parents and the people that were closest to them were usually right when they thought things were weird and when they thought things were off. So on that note, I don't really, at this moment, I feel like I touched all the bases, and I genuinely just wanted to come on here and have this conversation because I just watched it and it kind of triggered a lot of like thoughts and feelings. I might be doing a part 2 because I know they have more episodes that come up and more things that we can discuss based off of what's triggered. But on that note, I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll drop in the description box like a hotline number or something for resources for help. Definitely don't be afraid to speak up, stand your ground, protect yourself, and be kind to yourself and love yourself. And on that note, guys, it's been a beautiful experience. Until next time, bye.